New North, the freshman dorm that is known as the most social living experience here at USC campus. As each of the 1,081 residents here must scan their fingers in order to access their dorms, these students become well acquainted with those who work at the front desks. One man in particular, who goes by the name Jim, has become favorited by the students here and is commonly known as the father of New North.
My name is James Higgins. I work midnight to 8. It's really kind of silly. They say that I'm the father figure of New North, which I've never been married, never had any kids, but it's funny that they think I take on that role. But after a certain point, they get to know you, know who the guard is by name, and they trust you. The whole idea is that we're like family, and which we, by the end of the semester, we usually are. And so they tend to, at first they fear you, and then they develop a relationship with you. But
okay, so this one time I was walking behind a group of guys trying to go into the building, and they're like, Jim, like, can we freshen your coffee? And all of a sudden they pull out like this handle of Svedka and they're like trying to pour it in his coffee, and he's like, oh my God, what are you guys doing? I was like, this is so chill, like, I don't understand. Like, he didn't even like punish them, like, it was totally fine. And then like they were laughing, and that was it.
Last night, while we were hanging out on top of the garage, I told Jim I needed to use the bathroom, and instead of making me fingerprint in and go use the bathroom on the floor, he just threw that thing at me with the keys, and then like the giant spatula attached to it to make sure you don't steal it, and he let me use their bathroom instead when I was definitely ready to like run upstairs, waste more time, but instead he just opened up the door for me. Like, what a nice man Jim is.
One time, my friend really had to pee, but he lives on South Campus, and he wasn't going to make it if I had to guest him in, so Jim just let him run by right to the bathroom. It was so nice. I
mean, there's the hardcore security people, then there's the people who tend to deal with it a little better. I mean, there's some people really strict by the book, and just like there'll be parents that'll come in and say, can I leave my bags here? And some of the guards say, well, no, you can't do that because we don't know what's in those bags and whatever, even though they know their parents. And I mean, you always have to make a judgment call.
So when you're carrying a lot of stuff, Jim doesn't make you fingerprint in. He knows you, he knows your face, and he knows that you live there. And he risks getting fired in order to accommodate us better. Jim really improves my living experience in New North.
And by extension.
It was supposed to be like Coachella, only it was called Dormchella, right? And it was in the dorms. And they said, well, Jim, you got to go. I was like, I can't go. It's not sanctioned by the RAs. And he says, well, look what we did. And they showed we had a poll who we want to be the main act at Dormchella, which was, you know, like I said, not sanctioned by the RAs. It had me and a couple other people and some real acts. I don't know what. And I won by a landslide. It was really funny. They did that. I mean, it was one of the funny things. But it's like, but. I was like, well, I can't go in there. Are you crazy? I'll get fired for that. I can't, especially because the RAs had to break it up, and the whole thing didn't even really happen. But they just always would do stuff to. I really, to me, I don't get it. I don't get why they did. But that's again showing that there is this affection they have for the overnight guards, because they're there for them, you know, when they're sick or whenever they're tipsy or what have you. I don't know that I do have great affection for them, even though I try to remain stoic and not say a whole lot. But there is that bond, like I said, because it does feel like family after a certain point, that we are family, and I am their protector, and I do care about them. But again, like I said, you try to remain focused and stoic, and I don't say a whole lot. And it's interesting, they'll come in and confess whatever to me, or you know, tell me. Any kind of problems they have or whatever. It's interesting. You're almost like a bartender, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it's just interesting, the bond that is established, and it's relatively quickly as well, just because you're working the weekend nights, and that's when I guess they're most vulnerable.